Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the Toolbox, the one every single project manager needs. We're going to look at all the essential tools and methods for keeping projects on the straight and narrow. I mean, this is the big one, right? How do you stop a complex project from just completely going off the rails? Well, there's no magic wand, but the answer is having the right set of tools for tracking, monitoring, and, most importantly, control.
All right, so here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with the big picture, the whole monitoring and control process. Then we'll dig into gathering data, visualizing progress, measuring performance, and finally managing change. Let's get into it.
Okay, first things first. We gotta lay the groundwork. Think of monitoring and control not as something you do once, but as the project's central nervous system. It's this continuous loop that's always running, always checking, and always keeping things in check.
And this image, this really nails it. See, monitoring isn't some single simple action. It's more like a constant juggling act. You've got scope, cost, risk, performance. All these things have to be managed in parallel to keep the project moving forward smoothly.
All right, let's open up that toolbox and pull out our first set of tools. These are all about gathering the raw data, because, let's be honest, you can't manage what you don't measure, right? It all starts with getting good information. You know, a great project manager has to be a bit of a detective. You're constantly collecting clues, right? You're doing interviews, sitting in on meetings, just observing. You're digging through documents, software logs, even weekly timesheets to piece together the full story of what's really happening. But here's the kicker. Just gathering data isn't enough. You have to know if it's accurate. That's where this cool technique called triangulation comes in. It's simple, really. You get the same piece of info from a few different places. That way, you know you're working with solid facts, not just, rumors or wishful thinking. Okay, so we've got our data, and we trust it. Now what? Well, the next drawer in our toolbox is all about visualization. How do we take all those numbers and turn them into something that makes sense at a glance? Because here's the thing about our brains. We are wired for visuals. Trying to understand a project's health from a giant spreadsheet? Good luck. But a good visual chart, it cuts through all that noise and tells a story instantly. Everyone on the team can see it and get it. When it comes to visuals, two of the heavy hitters are Gantt charts and Kanban boards. Now, you might think they do the same thing, but they really don't. They give you two totally different but super useful windows into your project. And here's a classic Gantt chart. This thing is the king of schedules. It lays everything out on a timeline. You can see every task, how long it's supposed to take, and who's doing what. And see those shaded parts of the bars? That's your progress, right there. So simple, but so incredibly effective. Now, a Kanban board. This is a whole different beast. It's not about timelines. It's about flow. The name literally means visual card in Japanese. You're watching work move from one stage to the next, like from to-do to in progress to done. It makes it super easy to spot bottlenecks and see where things are getting stuck. All right, visualization is great for getting a feel for things, but sometimes you need cold, hard numbers. So next up in our toolbox are the analytical tools. This is how we objectively measure if we're actually on budget and on time. And for that, we have to talk about the granddaddy of them all, Earned Value Management, or EVM. Seriously, this thing is a powerhouse. It takes scope, schedule, and cost and smashes them all together to give you a brutally honest look at your project's performance. And this chart? This is the heart of EVM. It looks complicated, but it's really just 3 lines. You've got your plan, that's planned value. You've got what you've spent, that's your actual cost. And then the most important one, the value of the work you've actually finished, that's your earned value. If those lines start drifting apart, you know you've got trouble. So you've got all this great data. Now you got to communicate it, right? And you don't give everyone the same report. For a quick update, you use a stoplight report. Red, yellow, green. Simple. If something's gone wrong, you send out an exception report. And for the execs who love the details, you give them a variance report. It's all about tailoring the message to the audience. Okay, for our last set of tools, we need to talk about the one thing that's guaranteed to happen on every project. Change. How do we keep it from wrecking all our beautiful plans? Look, change is gonna happen. You can't just say, no change is allowed. The real goal isn't to build a fortress to keep change out, it's to build a well-managed gate. You need a process to decide which changes get in and what impact they're gonna have. And that process looks something like this. A change gets requested,
Then you evaluate it. What's it going to cost in time and money? Then it has to be approved by the right people. After that, it gets prioritized, implemented, and finally released. Following these steps is what stops a tiny little change from spiraling into a massive disaster.
Now, in the software world, this gets even more specific. We call it Software Configuration Management, or SCM, and it is essential. Imagine you have 10 developers all working on the same code. Without SCM, it's total chaos. People would be overwriting each other's work all day long. It's the system that keeps all of that organized. And of course, there are tools for this. The old school ones were centralized. Think of it like a library book. There's only one master copy and you have to check it out to work on it. But modern tools, especially Git, are distributed. This is a game changer. It means every single developer has a full copy of the entire project history on their own machine. It's way more flexible and resilient.
So let's pull it all together. What's in the project manager's toolbox? You've got your process foundation. You've got your data gathering tools. You use visualization tools like Gantt and Kanban to make sense of it. You measure with powerful techniques like EVM. And you control everything with formal change management. That's the whole shebang. So when you look at all these tools, which one do you think is the absolute most critical? Is there one you couldn't live without? The truth is, they all work together. And mastering them, well, that's what separates a good project manager from a great one. It's how you navigate the chaos and bring projects home successfully.